My name is Quinn Houston, and I've spent the last 4 years of my life at the Putney School. When anyone talks about their high school, I always hear, I go here, I went there, yada yada. Whenever anyone has asked me, I say, oh, I go to the Putney School. But it almost feels like a reaction, like I didn't articulate what I was really trying to say. Over the last month, I've realized that sentence was never sufficient enough to characterize what I meant. As a day student, I don't live on campus, but I'm there 6 days a week, sometimes seven. Sometimes I'm there from 8 in the morning to 10 at night. To and from the hill for 4 years, it wasn't till last month I realized I wasn't driving from my house to school. I was driving from one home to another. 4 years of friends, 4 years of adventures. My life was centered around this place. Sure, I had other things going on in the real world, but every break or summer was always just an interlude to the next chapter at Putney. But it wasn't till I turned the last page I knew that book was over.
To clarify, when I said 4 years, what I really meant was 3 2/3. For those of you that don't follow current events, the world's in a bit of a pickle.
China says the number of people infected by a mysterious respiratory virus has more than tripled over the weekend.
The virus.
Deadly coronavirus.
Deadly coronavirus. Now more than 100,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
Declaring a national emergency.
Learning online.
Our schools have closed down.
We hope, and I believe it will happen, that we may start seeing a turnaround, but we haven't seen it yet. We're just pushing on the mitigation to hope that we do see that turnaround.
Oh man, here, wait, give me 1 second for my AirPods. It's been going okay.
Not much, just in my house.
It's okay. It's okay.
Really terrible about my work, but otherwise.
Can you hear me?
Hmm?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool. What were you saying it's about?
I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. This is my exhibition, and it's changed a lot. It started as an idea about what it means to be a Putney student and a high schooler in general. I wanted it to almost be a love letter to my class and my school, but also a means of reflecting on my time at the school and who I've grown to be. I had a lot of elaborate plans with music videos and interviews around campus with fun and unfortunate anecdotes, but obviously things changed. I'm still interviewing my classmates, just online. Putney is still part of the theme, just the campus looks a little different than I thought it would. So what's it about? I mean, you could say it's about online classes or social distancing, but really it's about a premature ending. Rather, it's about a time that was supposed to be really important to a lot of people, not being what we expected this spring to be. For me, this project is a way of processing something that we never got to do together, especially the people in my senior class. This was supposed to be the final hurrah before Putney flung us into the world as adults. Instead, we're stuck at home.
That's a really good emotion of how I feel about it.
It's kind of what I expected it to be. Like, I'm FaceTiming people all the time now.
Recently, I've been fine. I've kind of stopped feeling much about it at all.
In the beginning of the first few weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to survive with just seeing my family all the time. But, making do, getting used to it.
When there's not a global health pandemic going on outside, it's easier to see people, meet up with people, but now it's just not at all, not even in thought.
At first I was miserable because I just gotten back from Florida with all of my friends, and then it was straight into seeing nobody and quarantining for 2 weeks. I didn't leave the house.
I definitely rely on other people a lot more than I used to or thought I did.
I started like hardcore social distancing since a month, pretty much exactly now, since March 15th. All my family members, only I have been out in public once, and that was to get groceries.
Every day is like, I don't know. Honestly, I can't even keep track of the days.
Everything's shut down. We're on full like shelter in place. And so we've been I think California was like one of the first states to go into shelter in place. So we've been in shelter in place for like since like low-key the beginning of March.
I don't know. I feel like I'm coming back from like college or something. I feel like I haven't like lived here for a really long time, honestly. Even though like I was coming back every day.
Literally thought it was Monday yesterday. I don't know what's going on. It's 1:25, 22 right now. I haven't even ate breakfast. I got up, did homework.
Wow.
And I've gone to hang out with my one friend, and we only hang out outside 6 feet apart, and it's only been like twice.
I think now, like, I'm a lot more tired not being around my friends than I am being around them. And I feel like I have a lot more energy when I'm surrounded by people who like motivate me.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of like in like the last week, surprisingly, I've been like kind of motivated to do things. Like I like rearranged my room. I was like I don't know. I was like laying in my bed for like the first few weeks, but recently I've been like painting and like making music and like actually doing stuff, which surprised me, I guess.
The biggest way that it's changed is just like you said, going to Putney's your life and you're kind of constantly busy. And especially me, like I have a fairly busy life too outside of Putney, so I was never really given the opportunity, like even on weekends, to have kind of breaks and times to just like be. And I think definitely the biggest way I've changed is I'm really like someone that looks ahead or like plans things out and overthinks it. So I think kind of not having the ability to plan things out or really see into the future and being like forced to stay in the moment has been quite a big thing. And I'm glad to have had this opportunity to kind of take a breath and sit.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be really weird when all this is like over or like a temporary break, and I start like seeing people in person again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's gonna throw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like when you haven't seen someone in person for a while, but then all of a sudden they're like in the room with you.
It's been a month now since we were supposed to return to school. And I guess that's really like shocking. And it's been a month since I've had like any real contact with people I would actually consider my friends.
Bizarre. It's really bizarre that it was also cut so short without any kind of formal closure.
For me, and for I'm assuming the rest of my class, the biggest disappointment isn't being home, but the lack of something that would feel like a real ending. Senior spring is something that I think most high schoolers look forward to. For us, it's the last trimester of a journey that's lasted 4 years. Everyone, for the most part, has an idea of what they're going to do next year, whether that be college or a gap year. It's built up by the classes before us as a time to let loose and really try and enjoy every day that you have left in this school. Not even left in this school, left in your childhood. I mean, you forget that we left for March break with no real idea that that was it. It was over. I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. A lot changed in 2 weeks. I want to put this in perspective. You go to the last day of classes, and you're looking forward to March break. Then you're planning the next trimester and all the weekend trips you want to go on, final projects you want to finish, the cute girl you want to talk to, the friendships you want to repair, the loose ends you want to tie. Spring break starts and the days start rolling by, and the pandemic grows and grows, and suddenly it becomes a reality that none of that is going to happen. Instead, you're going to have to spend your final months as a high schooler in your room, stuck in your house, attending class by staring at a screen. How are your online classes going?
They're all right. It's different.
I think they're pretty frustrating.
online classes at Putney are not going great.
I don't know. They're kind of confusing to me.
They're going as good as they could, but definitely not ideal.
Right? It's just different. It's just different. Adapting
Mhm.
to it, being online and managing my time.
Online classes are hard. It's just like hard not being able to actually talk to people and like have real conversations.
I got into college already. I like two of the, so I'm taking 3 classes right now. 2 of them I'm taking because the curriculum requires me to.
Online classes, I don't like them. Like, they're fine and I understand as a stand-in for something that we can't have. But like, I don't know, it sucks. I'm staring at a laptop like all the time now.
It definitely depends on the class, definitely depends on the week or day. Personally for me, you know, having like to just be like in my room, sitting in front of a screen all day has been really frustrating and tiring. And I think definitely like I've learned to appreciate being in a classroom setting.
It's definitely been more difficult because it doesn't, I said this earlier, but it doesn't feel like there are any real world consequences for not doing my work. And there's just something comforting, or not even comforting, there's just personal accountability for like physical, for a physical presence.
Hard because it's such a like hands-on kind of learning place in terms of like all the art programs and all the afternoon programs, and it's hard to like transfer that. Like, you have to be motivated on your own from home to want to continue doing that, whereas when you're at Putney, like, it's part of the program.
I feel like I'm still able to demonstrate my best work. So I feel like in my case, I would prefer it to be graded.
I mean, I think, right, like it would be easier if it was a smaller group, like a more compact group, but they just can't really do that.
I was just on a phone call with someone and we were like sitting in silence doing our work together, and I found myself 10 times more productive than when I was sitting by myself.
It's like everything is very like forced, because obviously it is, because like everything has to be very like organized for everything for it to work. But it just makes it so hard to like get like go like really deep into topics and like actually discuss things.
So my point is pretty much is I don't really have any incentive to care about doing school right now.
I don't have a problem. Just that sometimes I just prefer to not, you know?
I do know. My classes and my exhibition have been really hard at times. Whether that be half my video and a couple of interviews just deleting themselves, or Premiere crashing 5 times in an hour, or just a cloudy day and all I want to do is stay in bed. I've realized how, at the beginning, it was really easy for me, but it became more difficult as time went on. I'm someone that can be alone and not feel lonely. But this prolonged period of time has shown me different layers of myself that I don't think I would have seen otherwise. And in that respect, I'm grateful. It's important to connect with other people, and not just through a screen, but in their actual presence. As I slowly started to see my friends again, in a safe way, it gave me a new enthusiasm that I forgot I had. And what that really stems from is Putney. I miss it. It's not only my friends, it's the acquaintances I walk by every day. Driving to campus every morning to a learning environment that taught me how to work hard and allowed me to explore what I'm actually interested in. This school allowed me to travel and spend what I consider some of the best months of my life in a different country. I've always felt very privileged to be able to go to such an amazing place for high school, but when it ends like it did for me, and for us, it gives you a certain frame of reference that can only really be felt in retrospect. In the end, my takeaway is I'm really lucky and I'm really grateful, but everyone misses Putney in their own way.
Is it dumb to just say like the people? Like my
Not
friends.
at all.
Trimester, socialization, honestly. I was
Mhm.
thinking about that the other day. Definitely socializing.
Yeah.
It's so hard because there's so much. I wasn't well, it's the vibe. It's the vibe I was looking forward to.
I just miss Putney so much, like so much. And like at first it was really bad and I was like really sad, and then I like kind of was like really numb, and I was like, this is fine, like everything's fine. And now I'm like really sad again.
It's
Yeah,
like
I know what you're
everyone's
saying.
gotten into college, everyone's chilling, everyone is just waiting to wrap it up. The weather's getting nice, like the mud's going away.
I feel like I hope, fingers crossed, that I'll get to see most of them, this summer and in the future. But like, I'm definitely the guys in the dorm that I'm not as close with. I was kind of on the outside of that.
Right.
Like, I mean, because they all spend time in Kayla's room, and I lived right next door to him, right across the hall, actually. But just popping in and like seeing all those guys, and like, I mean, in the evening, just hanging out with Kayla and Andrew, and like seeing that dynamic is so much fun. And like, even though I don't really fit that, like, that friendship almost,
Mhm.
it's fun to drift in and out. And
I don't know, but last year I was abroad in the spring, so I didn't get to have spring at Putney, but I think it's really nice. Like, when it's warm out, like, everyone's outside all the time, everyone's, like, playing music, everyone's, like, just hanging out. It's, like, a really nice environment.
Yeah, just being with my friends. I also think there's nothing like a Putney spring, like that first day when the snow melts and the ground is finally like no longer muddy and everyone sort of lays down on Intimidation Hill and plays music and frisbee and things like that. And everyone just feels like happy after such a long winter.
I'm gonna miss so much. I think spring is like the best trimester at Putney. And I think one thing about like junior year is that like, I don't know, I was kind of looking forward for like this spring to be like my last before it's my last, And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna miss like, of course, like the people a lot, but just there's such a feeling of spring on campus about like being able to like hang out outside. And someone like texted me the other day and it was like during golden hour and such a beautiful evening out, and they're like, imagine like we could just be eating outside right now on like the picnic tables and stuff. And I was like,
this has surprised me because it's like my last year here, right? And it's 4 years. But I actually made a really good new friend last term. I made friends with Mars. I was really getting excited to get to know them better. For my spring term, finishing all the projects I never got around to completing, despite the fact that I've been at Putney so long, just like even trying out more stuff I've never done before,
Chilling with everyone. I also feel like you kind of get to meet more people outside of your like kind of core group those last couple of months.
Keeping like, oh, this is fine, like I'm happy, and then I'm keeping like would be so much happier if I was at Putney right now.
Yeah.
And so then it's just like, yeah. Like card burning would have started a couple nights ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's so sad.
I think I was just really looking forward to spending time up there, like I said, as a junior this last trimester, and really kind of taking in like the fact that your class isn't going to be there next year. Because I keep talking to other juniors and we're like, it's going to be crazy going back and not only being seniors, but having like your whole class gone. Because there are so many like iconic Putney people in your class, and I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's going to feel absent next fall.
what you said, those people that you're acquainted with, the people that you kind of take for granted almost, just seeing around, like like people that you won't have a chance to see. Or
my third and final attempt at recording this. I don't know what the reception of this video will be, but I think I did a lot for myself over the past couple months. I started this video with a sense of trying to hold on to something that I feared losing because of the untimely ending of my senior year. I was anxious that Putney would move on, and I wouldn't. Since there's gonna be a time in the near future where I go back to Putney and it's not my school anymore. But I think I'm okay with that now. And I don't know how I would feel if it wasn't for me working on this project. As I said before, I'm grateful for Putney as a school and for who it made me. But more so to the people, to my teachers, to my peers, and to my friends. Thank you.